Right, so we've got a standard watch here that's got links, and it's also got a screw back. So these are little notches here that you need to screw off. So what you want is either a 2, or if you go into your briefcase, you might potentially want a 3-pin. The 2's usually the best one to start off with, but you have this if you need it. First things first, to make life easier, in this case for the purpose of training, we'll take out one of the pins. So you get your link extractor, turn it to the left, you'll see the rod will go in. From there, there'll be some links. Now sometimes they're up the side of the watch, but the closest one I've got here is right here on the handle. So as long as I position, I'll do this one here because this will fit. Line the steel pole up with the link, and as you screw it in, it'll push the link out. Be very careful when you're doing this. Don't rush it. So the half the links come out of there now. Take your pliers and just simply extract the link like that. Becomes much easier to work with now. From there, using this, if you turn it to the left, it'll loosen it, so you can edit it. Turn it to the right, and it keeps it in place. So you want to make sure it's loose. Put your notches in either end of the watch. So here, and depending on the watch face, they might not be big enough. Luckily, this one is. The initial first bit will be the hardest bit because you have to break the seal. As I said, but advise the customer that it's not a rushing process and it might take 5 or 6 minutes to do. You'll notice it'll turn and then eventually it'll go really loose. From there, when it's loose enough, you should be able to just do it with your fingers, like so. The older the watch, the harder the seal will be to break, especially if it hasn't been changed before. So it might be worth getting a bit of tissue and just rubbing all this away, both after and before. Next, get your watch knife. There's a little plastic cover on that always goes around the outside of the watch that you'll need to just pull off, like so. Now if you zoom in on that, on the actual battery here, you can see it's got a little metal piece that comes over the top of it. You need to be really careful when extracting this because you could snap it off and then you're in trouble. So there you go. You'll need to use one finger and just slide it to the right. That is a 371. And now you just repeat the process. So when you've got your new battery, you would simply slide it in, like so. Put your plastic covering back on, put your screw top back on, screw it in, and then use this to tighten it. Don't do it too tight, because then you'll be getting yourself a problem for the future. And then as far as your link goes, this is the important bit. To get your link back on, put that there. Now you can do it with one hand, but if you get this piece of equipment and it holds it in place for you, so you can just get your pin. It might be good to start to put the pin in first. Like so. Place that in your grid. And then finally, use the plastic tip side of the mallet, not the metal side. To hammer the link back in, and you're sorted. And that would be a watch that's done. You can set the time and give it back to the customer.